Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Monday? Wow. I am tired. I'm just feeling tired. I'm feeling a little bit like Christmased out already, as it were. I feel like this light is too bright. Hold on, let me get my light situated here. Okay. But I'm fine. I think I'm still just kind of like processing the whole Mark Laita putting that child out there in the world like that. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about in today's live and have some updates from the whole Mark Laita situation. If you were here for my last video, we kind of talked about the fact that Mark Laita from Soft White Underbelly had posted a video interviewing a child, a 13-year-old, and in the video, her entire chest, her entire upper body is like completely visible. She's wearing like a top of some sort, but it's just, it's basically a bikini top bra thing, and it's completely see-through. Now, at the time that I made that video, it was also completely uncensored. And one of the things that we talked about in the video that I made, my reaction to it, and we didn't do a reaction, like I didn't show it on this channel. And I strongly suggest and request that y'all don't try to seek that video out. But there has been an update. So apparently on the same day that I did make that last video, it must have been Friday, I guess. Mark took his video down apparently and re-uploaded it. And when he re-uploaded it, he did blur out some of the body of the child. It just makes me aggravated. We're going to talk about something like more lighthearted after this topic too, just to kind of like move on from it. But anyway, so what was going on with Mark Laita? So it's just like something I don't want to think about. It makes me feel sick. He re-uploaded the video and it's like blurred out for the most part. I didn't watch it, the second video, so I don't know if it's the same stuff they're still talking about, if it's this exact same video or if it's a different video. But he did re-upload it, or he re-uploaded something, or he uploaded it, right? And blurred out the chest, but then there's like portions of Mark's video where, if you might have seen Mark's videos before, where he'll take like a black and white picture of a subject, like, or of a person he's interviewing, and then he'll like pan the camera from the top, the person's face, like all the way down, and it's like the camera at any given moment is like on like an isolated part of the person's body, and it's like in HD and black and white. Well, there's a similar picture. There's a picture like that of this child in the video, and it's like panning up and down the body of the child. And there's no, last I checked, there was no censoring on that part, but I'm not like rushing back to try to look at it again, to be honest. So I don't know if that's been censored now or not. Thank you, Tingle Tits. Vimeo is looking into this. They host all his videos on his private site and might suspend his entire private channel. Oh, where did you get that info? I would like to, I hope it's true. I have no reason to believe that Tinkle Tits would be lying. And thank you for the super chat to Tinkle Tits. Yeah, he is a real creep. And so there was one thing I wanted to show y'all, this picture I took. So I was looking it up to see if Mark had left the picture up and, stuff like that. And I don't know how to share this. I guess I'll just have to share it this way. Hold on. I'm just going to share it like from my camera roll. So you see, this is a screenshot. Oh, look, I could probably see that. That's the thing. I didn't want to type this in. I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to leave it up long, but as you can see on his private, own channel, I don't know if it's private. I don't know if it's like a subscription only website. I'm really not sure. I didn't click this link. I do not want to click on anything on my computer that has that in the title. Thank you. But this was like from the Google search page, and it shows clearly what he has titled this video on his website. So it might say teenage runaway on, for example, YouTube, but that is not how he's marketing it on his private website, which brings me to my next issue. I can give email receipts. Thank you again. Working on this since Friday. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, whatever you can give, I would be happy to report. Whatever it is, that would be great for some updates. I know a lot of people are upset about this. I know a lot of people, like way beyond YouTube and stuff like that, have been talking about it. I think some people were like talking about it in Reddit on the social worker Reddit thread or community. He could do so much to actually help. And this is a good point. He could actually do a lot more to help. But in my opinion, he doesn't even like necessarily have to help, but I believe that posting videos and content like this to the general public is very harmful, not only to the child who is being, in my opinion, exploited in the video, but also to all of us. I mean, how many of us like have been thinking about this since he posted it, like in a way that's not good? Like we're like very not okay with it. Has he gotten This is the question, because in her interview, Vera says who gave him permission to film and release. She is a minor. That's my question, and I'm wondering because in her interview, she says that her mom had lost custody of her. So her mom did not have custody of her legally, and she was in like foster homes, I guess. And then she was like I guess running away from them too. So she kind of said either expressly or maybe she just implied it in her video. I don't exactly remember. I'm not going back to look. But I'm pretty sure she said she doesn't even know who her guardian is. So who did sign? This has been something I've been asking myself, Jilly, for since, you know, I turned the camera off on my last live. Like, do y'all think he's like really this clueless, or do you think he does realize how disgusting it is and just doesn't care? I mean, I really don't know. It's very difficult for me to get inside the mind of a person who could post something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go to his channel because we're not gonna look at any imagery, but I do want to show y'all the description box of this new upload. 47,000 views. Okay. All right. So, as you can see, here's the description box of the video. Soft White Underbelly interview and portrait of a 13-year-old runaway in LA has been deleted. Has been deleted. Who deleted it? I don't know. The video can be watched on the Soft White Underbelly subscription channel at softwhiteunderbelly.com. So he's advertising where you can go see the uncensored version. For ad-free, uncensored video and plenty of exclusive content, please subscribe to the $10 a month subscription channel. It's $10 a month and watchable here, 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 here. Here's a link to my GoFundMe campaign so you can help some of the people in the interviews. Well, let me click that GoFundMe, see how much money he's raised on it. $34,000. When did he start it? It doesn't show, I don't think. Oh, June. So he created this one June 2023, and it's raised $34,000. Now, I have made videos on BJ Investigates where I go through some of the GoFundMe numbers and just try to get a little ballpark of that. And this is kinda like what I wanted to talk about a little bit. We know, or at least it's strongly implied in the video where the 13-year-old is doing the interview with Mark, that Mark paid her for this interview. So she's, like, talking about how she needs the money, and it was, one of the this is my memory, this is my recollection. To be honest, I don't, I have the clearest memory of the whole thing, but what I remember is there was a conversation along the lines of there were a couple reasons why the child wanted to do the interview or decided to finally cave and do it or whatever. One of them was she wanted to get her side of the story out because her mom was talking about her on social media and not letting her, get her side of the story about out. And she was talking about how she wanted to set the story straight with the public about her story and all that. Another reason why she wanted to do it, she said she needed the money. That's how I remember it. Y'all can go watch it. It's still up, I think, but I wouldn't say you should, but if you want to fact check, I don't know for sure if that's how it was, but that's how I remember it. And it was like her saying she needed the money, and then they kind of talked about money for a minute. And so that implies to me that Mark, like he does with probably almost every other interview, pay for the subject, quote, quote, subject to participate in it. So that's step A. Step one, he paid for this child to do this interview, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, y'all tell me yes or no. Thumb up, thumb down. Does that what that means to you? He paid for the interview because he paid the child for her appearance in the interview. First of all, on a kind of lighter level, does that implicate child labor laws? Are children allowed to appear on podcasts in California at all? And being paid, I don't know all that. But then you take it one step further and just simply look at the facts. The facts are the child was completely exposed um on top, and she was talking about things of a sexual nature with a 63-year-old man who was behind the camera. You could see her body. It was very exposed. It was uncensored at the time. Mark sat in a room with her, prompting her to talk about these questions in particular. And I want to look at not article, like an op-ed type of thing somebody wrote just 2 years ago, 2021, who had been featured on Soft White Underbelly. And she actually shows what she claims is a script, like a talking points. And we're going to look at it. But here's Mark paying money to a child who's saying that she needs money to talk about things of a sexual nature while she's exposed, I mean, almost completely, seemingly one-on-one with this man. And then he publishes it publicly, takes it down, and now he is, for a fee, for a transaction, making that uncensored video, his words, not mine, uncensored video of a child's areolas and everything available to people who want to pay $10 a month. So he's selling video images uncensored of a child talking about sexual things, including where to find her, how much she charges, what her social media handle names are, and now it's all private for $10 a month. Y'all see what the problem is? Tinkleton said Mark triple dips on this. Thank you for the super chat, Tinkle. He charges $10 a month fee, but he also uses Vimeo OTT, which is their version of YouTube ad revenue. Oh, okay, I see. All of his videos are using Vimeo monetized. Yeah, he called it salacious. I mean, thank you, Brianna. for the super chat. Welcome, Rabbit, Daisy Ray. The fact that she spoke, I mean, so let me look up that article of that person who went on his channel. And we'll read some of that. If I can find it. Oh no. Okay, hold on. I have to find my that article, or that I keep calling it an article. It's like it's kind of like a blog, really. But I'm looking for it right now. I gotta trace my steps to find it. Okay. Okay, here's an article, blog. We'll call it a blog post, undertheropes.com. And it's from June 2021. So like about 2 to 2.5 years ago. Wait, 21 to 22. Two. Yes, 2 to 2.5 years. Oh my God, y'all. You know what happens when the numbers start going up in my mind? It doesn't work. Okay, so it says, my story is not your trauma, corn. How not to interview survivors of this. And I would say, this is the type of article that this is. If that might be something you don't want to hear right now, I would leave the video. However, I do not plan on saying any of the parts that are explicit. I don't remember there being anything too detailed, but just letting y'all know. Okay. So this is someone who claims to have gone on Soft White Underbelly. So let's see what she has to say. Or he. I don't know the pronoun. I don't know the person's name. I didn't read the whole thing. Since I first wrote my story of being bleep assaulted by a trainer at a Muay Thai gym back in 2011, several organizations have approached me to share it on their platforms. Universities, journalists, documentary makers, the British Embassy, and even the UN have invited me to retell this story. So she was assaulted by a trainer in a gym. She's a Muay Thai fighter. I think it's a type of martial arts. They each used my story as a means to raise awareness of gender-based violence and this type of culture and discuss potential solutions. When a well-known English language Bangkok news outlet approached me for the story recently, I thought it would be more of the same. Instead, it was a traumatic. What is this? Wait, hold on. I didn't even read this part. Okay, yes, this. Wait. I didn't read this part. I really skimmed this article. So this says a Bangkok news outlet approached her for the story about the Muay Thai assault in the gym. I thought it would be more of the same. Instead, it was a traumatic experience that serves as a valuable lesson in how not to treat survivors of assault. The news outlet, which I won't name, produces media coverage all across Southeast Asia. A producer from the Bangkok branch dropped into my inbox on my Facebook page earlier this month, inviting me to be interviewed on camera as part of a new video project they were launching, modeled on the successful YouTube series Soft White Underbelly. I never heard of Soft White Underbelly at the time, but some quick research told me that it produces raw, intimate interviews with people living on LA's Skid Row, the founder, Mark Laita. Okay, so this isn't even Soft White Underbelly, so that's what I get for going live. This is like a story that's trying to. Did she actually interview with him? No, this is just this ain't even Soft White Underbelly. Okay. So now I want to show y'all something Rabbit did. And this one has to do with this story as well. And this one has to do with Adam Grandmason, Adam 22. So let's just see what Rabbit had to say.
Coverage on Nova, the young 13-year-old girl that appeared on Soft White Underbelly. The video where Mark was getting a lot of pushback on the comments, he decided to blur her breasts and then re-upload, okay, and then turn off the comments. So this is Nova's mom.
Oh, right. Oh my God. I forgot. I totally forgot just to mention. Mark also turned the comments off. He turned off the comments on the re-upload, so people can't even comment on it anymore. So that's interesting. I don't know why he would have done that. Like if he was taking it down and blaring it out anyway. Well, that's the thing too. He said was taken down or has been taken down like in a passive voice. So he didn't say I took it down. He also didn't say YouTube removed it. He just said was taken down or it was removed or it was deleted or whatever he said. We read it earlier. But it makes me wonder, like, did he take it down or was it actually reported so much that they took it down? Did someone review it? Like, I'm just curious as to the circumstances that took place that resulted in it getting taken down. Not really sure, but it did get taken down. And then when he re-uploaded it, there were no comments available.
Tanea, she's done a couple of interviews.
So here we have Rabbit. She's showing a picture of Tanea, who is the 13-year-old child's mother, on No Jumper and, hanging out with, the No Jumper cast mates.
Appeared on the No Jumper Reddit forum, so she's well known. No Jumper, soft white underbelly. I'm not cheap. She's fucking them down. She gonna rap this stupid ass, set you up, fuck kind of shit. Like it's like so easy to, very easy. But you gotta know what you're doing now.
So if y'all want to go check that out, let me pull up Rabbit's channel. Oops. You can go check out the full video there. It's got some, zesty language in it. So I'm not wanting to play the whole thing here, but look at our new, is this new? Or am I just seeing this for the first time? It's so cute. The thumbnail thing. Oh, let's see what y'all have been saying here. Thank you, Brianna. Sounds like a promo. It does. To me, in my opinion, but these are just opinions. Let me see. Okay. Crit Mac. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't watch that show. But is he on? He's on No Jumper, right? Yeah. So the mom is, yeah. The name of his channel doesn't sit right with me. Predators in the wild go for the white underbelly of prey. Yeah. And he's actually talked about this before too. Yeah. I mean, he has his own history with 16-year-olds or whatever, Y'all, I've never actually even looked up like exactly what a gang Banger is, but does that mean like somebody that is in a gang and fights all the time, other people or something? I don't know what it means. Don't tell me, actually. I can look it up. Don't put it in my comments. His channels are clickbait for creeps, Eliza said. He knows what he's doing. He said, if I have a pretty girl, I get more views. That is what he did say. That is true. One of these days, I want to go back and watch like my first coverage on Amanda. Like, I want to go and do like a live react, like watch Throwback Thursday type thing with virtual reality hell and just see the stuff I was speculating on back then and see what, if I was speculating about was right and wrong. And, I never said anything as a fact that I didn't know for sure, but I would always, speculate if I didn't know. She has her bleep. Yeah. Exotic. Yeah, that was another thing. Mark had asked the child about if she had a P word. And she was like, no, because I don't want to like listen to other people telling me what to do or whatever. It was sick. Oh my God. It's so sick. In my opinion. Okay. It is. And I do think this is actually, you're onto something in my opinion, because it kind of did go from like, oh my, what? The man has an NAKED child on his uncensored on his channel to like, oh, well, I guess now he blurred it out. But it's like, No, I mean, it's still uncensored on the channel in that black and white photo last I checked, and, last someone told me, informed me. Like I said, I didn't watch through the whole video. I don't know if the whole entire thing is blurred out like that, and I'm not gonna probably sit through it again. Mm. In America, it's like part of a gang hustling. Okay, got it. Thank you, Janie, for the super chat and your kind words. Just means member of gang. Okay. English guy in town who unfortunately thinks the world of Mark and is following his footsteps. Oh, well, whatever. He can fall down that path if he wants. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird to me. I'm still kind of beside myself on the whole thing, to be honest. I don't know. Oh, Shane Dawson and Rylan Adams had their lab babies. That's nice. I'm going on Twitter because I want to show y'all something else. I want to show y'all this Britney Spears tweet from last night. The girl was tweeting. How do I find it? Let me see. Not tweeting. I'm on Twitter. I'm looking for her Instagram post. Oh my God, it's funny. Okay, wait. I'm pulling up an article. I don't need the whole article though. I just want to show y'all the post. Oh, they didn't even put it in here. Okay, that's how you know OK is on the payroll. They didn't even put the actual post in here. This is funny. It's like nowhere to be found. This is how you know they on the payroll, in my opinion. They're not even showing it. I'm about to pull up my dang pictures again. Oh, I can go to my Instagram. I'll show y'all there. Okay. So I'm just like minding my business, innocently scrolling by on the internet last night, and this pops up, jump scare on my screen. And it's Jamie Lynn Spears it's Britney Spears' Instagram has posted Jamie Lynn Spears with the pigtails dancing. I guess she was on Dancing with the Stars. It's getting hard to keep up with all the reality television shows that the woman is competing on and leaving in the first week or two. But let me pull up the caption that Britney had put because Instagram didn't let me put it. It wouldn't all fit. Okay, so here's the caption. Oh wait, no, not that one. That's a different Britney caption. Maybe it's here. Yes. Okay. So Britney posts this picture and it says in the caption, "I'm so proud of my sister. She did so good on Dancing with the Stars," with this picture. And on first glance, it's hard to know if this is like, first of all, who even knows if Britney posted it? That's first of all, I'll get that out of the way. I personally think she did. I think she posted it. And first glance, you're kind of like, well, maybe she's being genuine. Maybe she's like really saying that her sister did so good on Dancing with the Stars and she's so proud. I'm so proud of my sister for doing so good on Dancing with the Stars with a star emoji. But then people were saying, no, that is shade because, first of all, it's a very unflattering picture of Jamie Lynn, which I don't particularly think that it's less flattering than any other picture of Jamie Lynn. I mean, I think it's a good picture, par for the course. I don't think it's like, oh, that's a bad pic. Like, I've seen bad pictures of her. This is like a pretty standard Jamie Lynn Spears picture. I mean, unless they wanted Britney to like Facetune it and like Photoshop it, but like, what's unflattering? That's how she looks in her pictures. Like that's what she looks like. Then people were like, no, it's shade because it's an unflattering picture. And Jamie Lynn Spears just got kicked off Dancing with the Stars. And she was like the second or first one kicked off. I didn't fact check that. So let me look that up. Jamie Lynn And y'all know James Spears, James Parnell Spears, apparently had just got his leg amputated. I don't know if that's true, but I did see it in the news. You know, take for what you want. Jamie Lynn, Dancing with the Stars. I'm going to look up an article. Five days ago, there was a People article that says Jamie Lynn Spears returned to Dancing with the Stars following news. I don't know. They were in the news about the leg getting cut off. Wait, there was all kinds of, oh my God, wait, hold on. There's some drama going on. Hold on. We got a Mirror UK. No, I don't want to accept. Oh, okay. I guess that's not that bad. They respect privacy a little bit more in the UK, I guess. Okay. So here's the Mirror. Here's Jamie Lynn on her 2 different shows that she did in the past year, or the past month, I should say. Look at this headline. Jamie Lynn Spears, Dancing with the Stars co-stars are angry over secret ITV I'm a Celebrity deal. What's the secret deal? Did y'all hear about this? Singer and actress Jamie Lynn, and they're just not going to say, Britney Spears' sister, that's how we all know her. She upset her Dancing with the Stars co-stars by making a secret deal. The sister of pop superstar Britney Spears, yes, is said to have infuriated fellow celebrities after she was allegedly paid her full fee. Ooh, she was paid her full fee. Celebrities competing on Dancing with the Stars are only paid their full fee if they reach the final. So she just stayed. Well, that's Lou Taylor wheeling and dealing for her, I'm sure, in my opinion, if I had to guess as a speculation. For entertainment purposes, I'm just saying my opinion. However, Jamie Lynn is also said to have gotten special treatment despite leaving the show after just 2 weeks. Her stint on Dancing with the Stars was so short, Jamie Lynn was able to join I'm a Celebrity. The star ultimately ended up walking away from the celebrity show too after just 10 days, as it was claimed medical reasons forced her out of the jungle. To receive the I'm a Celebrity fee, celebrities have to stay on the show for 72 hours. Jamie Lynn is said to have made a deal which saw her pocket both fees from the reality, both fees. Oh, damn. You know what? The devil works hard, but Lou Taylor is the devil and they work hard. Just kidding, in my opinion. While other celebs have to appear in the final of the show to get the fee, Jamie Lynn was told she could go to Australia and not have to worry. And the co-stars are mad at her, y'all. It has been the talk of Dancing with the Stars, and it was a controversial move because it is so out of the ordinary. Some of Jamie Lynn's co-stars have admitted they thought it wasn't fair that she seemed to get special treatment. Now she's back in the US. However, she sparked anger among some of the I'm a Celeb fans after she reunited with the Dancing with the. So not only are the people mad at her over here on this cast, the Dancing with the Stars cast, but the I'm a Celebrity get me out of here fans are also mad at her because after she reunited with the Dancing with the Stars cast, what happened? Oh, it sparked a conspiracy theory involving Jamie Lynn. Some reality show fans are convinced that she quit I'm a Celebrity specifically to be able to return to California to feature on the finale of the show. Oh, the current season is still ongoing of the I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. So Jamie Lynn would theoretically still be on the show if she hadn't quit. One fan on Twitter said, hang on a minute. Jamie Lynn left the jungle due to medical grounds and is now back on Dancing with the Stars. So she just happens to fall ill and leave in time for Dancing with the Stars finale. Do me a favor. And another one had mused. Okay, so this is like conspiracy theories or whatever, but like, I don't think it's like, I think it's probably, yeah, why would you stay on a show if your whole purpose of going on the show was money and you got your money? I'm not saying that's what I would do. Maybe I would want to have fun on the show or whatever. Probably not. Probably wouldn't want them people telling me what to do all day either, to be honest. Okay, but so she didn't stay around much. So when did Jamie Lynn get voted off Dancing with the Stars? When did Jamie Lynn The second week of the so it was like back in September. Oh. Okay. It says the actress returned to Dancing with the Stars for the finale on Tuesday night. So I guess that was like last week. She spent her fall hopping from one reality show to another and back. In September, she was one of the 14 celebrities to join the cast of Dancing with the Stars. She and her partner were eliminated in the second week. From there, she went on to star on season 23 of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, only to leave for undisclosed medical reasons. She announced that she was medically cleared to return to Dancing with the Stars, and she took the first flight as soon as she got the news. It's tradition for all the season's competitors to return each year. So she joined for an opening number. Okay, so she came back to dance on the show, wanted to do a dance. And I'm assuming that Piggy Tails look with the purple leotard is the dance she did on the show. Is that right? I mean, seriously. I need at least 2 of these beanbags. Oh, you have the beanbag envy? Oh, I know. I love it. I just like plop down in that thing and just cuddle up. Let's not forget about yes, exactly. There was also the Special Forces show that she did about a year ago. She's broke. And she did her book last year. I mean, I don't know, y'all. From the time she was announced as part of the season 32 cast, she was the subject of internet backlash, with many actively rooting for her to fail due to her alleged role in what Free Britney Stan wrote this. Due to her alleged role in perpetrating the conservatorship of her sister. But her professional partner only had nice things to say. Honestly, I think people would be so surprised at how awesome Jamie Lynn is. She works so hard, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, I mean, there's that. Bam used facts ain't definite. I know. He's funny. I love Bam. He's doing so much better, it seems. Welcome to memberships. Whim. Thank you, Brianna, for the super chat. Thank you, Jen, for the super chat. I'm glad the IT staff are on it. Mark triple dips. Vimy is looking at her videos on private chat. Just reading some of the highlighted, the starred chats. Yeah, true. This is true. Good sign her money tree is being dried out. Oh, I'm sorry, Danielle. Y'all are sick. She did a reaction video on one of the twins. They think she shouldn't be doing that as a who? Who's that? I don't know what you're talking about, Ween. Talk about not getting my okay, Sarah. I'll check the email. I don't actually like personally handle the process, but I can try and get to the bottom of it. Yeah, it kind of feels like this, right? The morons of Twitter are trying to report Rabbit. Oh, they're so stupid. Don't even worry yourself with them. What other things? Oh, okay. So I didn't know if I wanted to even tell y'all this. I kind of wanted it to be like a surprise, but now I kind of want to like hype it up so that we're all in the premiere. But this week's BJ Investigates is going to be, I think y'all are going to be really liking it. It's like on the surface level, it's about the Backstreet Boys. But did you know there was a guardianship in the Backstreet Boys where one of the boys was guardian over another one of the boys? And did you know that I was able to procure 3 court documents from that guardianship, even though the record has been sealed or the file has been destroyed? The record has not been sealed. That is the wrong thing to say. The record has not been sealed. The file has been destroyed, but I was able to get 3 documents. Did y'all know there was a Backstreet Boys conservatorship? No, guardianship. Because this one was a minor. So it was like, when it's over a minor, it's like, in my experience of looking at these things, I think it's always called a guardianship when it's a minor. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Legal Eagles. Yes, and it come to find out that this particular Backstreet Boy, I mean, this is public knowledge too also. I've just been kind of piecing it together, and I haven't seen anyone, like, actually looking for the court documents, but they were all dis file destroyed in 2017, but there were some that were left, and so I was able to get 3 of them. But they were all minors, well, one was a minor. I don't wanna give it away, but it is easy, like, if you type it in, you can probably figure it out because it's like I said, it's not it's people have talked about it before, but if y'all have followed me with the Britney Spears stuff, you know that I've said before, I wasn't like a massive Britney Spears fan in the way that people were fans in the 2000s because like that required sort of like buying all the merch and stuff, and like we just couldn't afford that. Plus, I lived in the middle of nowhere, like that stuff wasn't even around. Like we had to go all the way into town to get that. I wasn't going to the concerts and things and all that. And the same holds true for all of it, like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Spice Girls, whatever. I just wasn't able to like get into it, right? Like even so much as like buying that extra, $4 teen magazine, like I wasn't getting that. So when y'all were flipping through, some of y'all reading every height, weight, birth year, whatever of each and every single favorite ice cream flavor of every Backstreet Boy, I just did not. I did not know. I will say it was completely like unavoidable though. Like I was completely inundated with the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees. I was alive. I had Disney Channel. I mean, it wasn't like that. But I didn't know every single thing. But the people who were like stands back then with all the magazines and the, you know, trivia and all that, like they knew about this guardianship. It's something that people know about. Um Aaron was not a member of the Backstreet Boys, but there was a similar type of guardian arrangement for him. I will have to look more into it because right now I'm looking into this one. But the video is I think it's gonna be like the beginning of like a new chapter, a new era of BJ Investigates because I've spent the greater part of the last 3 years kind of learning all the different names and people and locations and tactics of the industry. And now I have been victim to some of those tactics myself. So I'm aware of how far they will go. Lou Taylor coming in trying to get me to stop making videos about her at my law firm. Welcome to Memberships, Jackson's Universe. But I'm basically like finally in the last like week or two, I was able to put a lot of these pieces together. It's kind of like when you're putting a puzzle together, right? Where you have like some pieces of the puzzle over here, some pieces over here. And it's like you might have a whole little house built out of puzzle pieces over here. You might have your house picture and you might have some birds flying puzzle piece, over here. But like once you find those few pieces that puts all that together, it's like, yes, okay, downhill from here. You know what I mean? If you don't understand what I mean, then your brain just probably don't work like mine. That's fine. But those that do know what I mean, I just finally hit that moment. The pieces came together. And now all the rest of the puzzle is just falling in place. I mean, there's like 7 videos lined up. I just figured it all out. Well, I'd say like 80%. I still got a 20% to go. But I got to say, a big component in one of these little chunks of puzzle pieces that I'm put together, the birds flying around and flocking around, is the guardianship regime. These people been using guardianships and the probate courts to control people and children too on the road and stuff like that for a long time. And I won't I was trying to bury the lead, but it was Nick Carter. Some people have said it in the chat. Now, what I will say and what I am going to need to say whenever I make the BJ Investigates is that Nick Carter has recently been accused of some horrible, horrendous, and heinous allegations and accusations. Personally, if I'm telling my personal opinion, I believe probably true, but I want you to keep an open mind for this BJ Investigates because what we're going to be talking about is the like 11 to 14-year-old Nick Carter. And at that time, he hadn't done any of that stuff yet. So just like, let's travel back in time. You know what I mean? Just because I just want y'all to understand the model. It's not even a like, oh, Nick Carter sob story. It's like, hear me out. I found videos, for example, and if y'all are in here for this, you're getting the sneak peek. I found videos, for example, of the Backstreet Boys back in, I don't know, the height of their fame, which would have been like the late 90s and the early 2000s. the height of their fame, they were being interviewed and they were asking them, at the height of their fame. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this. I did not know this, but Lou Pearlman established Backstreet Boys in 1992. It was like a long time before they were really famous. And whenever he was trying to establish Backstreet Boys, it was like he was basically just trying to clone off like New Kids on the Block, which were like leather jacket, slick back hair greaser, like bad boy, but like kind of like that 80s and maybe a little bit early 90s vision of a bad boy or whatever. That flopped. It wasn't working. Like there needed to be something fresh, something new. And then the Backstreet Boys ended up evolving into what they are or whatever, or what they ended up being. So they're being interviewed and they're all being asked separately, independently, what's the biggest fight you ever got into with one of your bandmates? And all the members say Nick, except Nick. Now, Nick also was the youngest one. And in the BJ Investigates, we'll get into like how they all got into the band and stuff like that. Don't date myself, but welcome to member. Oh, Bruce has been a member for 1 month. Good job. Don't want to date myself, but I've been around for all the boy bands back when they were called barbershop quartets. Whoa, yeah, Bruce, you did just date yourself because that's what I was looking into this morning. The barbershop quartets are from like the 50s. And then you had the Osmond brothers and the Jackson 5. You had the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and then it kind of took a little bit of a dark turn. We had these like rock and roll bands. They were deranged, Aerosmith, Lou Taylor, and all them coming to enter the chat. But then it kept going. You had the New Kids on the Block. And there was other bands too that New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys were kind of emulating, like Boys to Men. And then other bands came along, B2K. Usher was in a boy band called New Beginning, but then his momager took him out because he didn't have a good experience. I mean, all these things, this is just my stream of consciousness right now, but you see what I mean when I say like everything's starting to come together. It's like, it's a model. You see what I mean? It's a model. Like it's a model. You start out in a boy band or a group. You start out in a group and then one person breaks out. But a lot of times it ends up being that one person that breaks out was always kind of slated to be the breakout, which brings me back to the Backstreet Boys situation. Nick was obviously, when they first cast it, and this is the thing, like in your mind, you got to separate. There's kind of like two Backstreet Boys bands as far as I'm concerned. It's like the early era and the height of the fame era. I guess three now, like after their fame era. But the early era is not what people remember most of the time. Most of the time people remember when they were wearing those silver pants and, wearing robot outfits and doing transhumanism across the galaxy or whatever. The early Backstreet Boys is what you got to rewind to, when they were putting pen to paper on these deals, these record deals. Nick Carter it's disputed, but he was around 11 to 13 years old, somewhere in there. I think he was about, we'll say 12, just, 12. And he was a little boy. The oldest person, he was the youngest, the oldest person in the group, Kevin, was like 20 or 21 years old when Nick Carter was 12. And so in these early videos, actually I could just pull up, like I won't watch the video because I don't want copyrighted, but like I'll show y'all what it looked like. And it was like a tiny child Nick and a grown man, Kevin. Backstreet Boys first performance. It was their first performance on the news. Let me mute it. Okay, I'm muting it. And because I don't want to get I don't know what's going to get copyrighted or whatever. Okay, yeah, here. Okay. So here is a still shot from that. Look at little Nick. This is Nick. And this is Kevin. And you can really see, well, I guess you can't really see because it's kind of blurry. But you can kind of see, and I can look for some more, evidence or whatever, that it's a very big age difference. And that was on purpose. Lou Pearlman, who was the founder, creator of Backstreet Boys, but also of NSYNC. At the same time, he managed both of them. He was also behind O-Town, Ashley Parker, Angel, Take 5, E5, B5, all kinds of bands. Then Lou Pearlman also did Making the Band, which was that show where he was basically trying to make a band. And that's where Ashley Parker Angel came from. He was on Making the Band. Then Lou Pearlman, here's, another red string, hands the show off. After he created the show Making the Band, he did one season. He made a band called O-Town, brought him back. he hands the show off to P Diddy, who does some bands or whatever, but namely the big one was Danity Kane. And on the Making the Band show, you have Johnny Wright and his wife at the time, ex-wife now, Donna. Was she on that? No, she wasn't. No, scratch that. Only Johnny Wright was on the show. Then you had and Johnny Wright was the Backstreet Boys manager and New Kids on the Block tour manager and NSYNC's manager. Johnny Wright has Motown connections. You see what I mean? Like, I sound like a crazy conspiracy person. That's what I'm gonna have to make like 15 videos to show y'all what's in my head. It's so hard. Sometimes it's so hard to put what is in your head into words. Let me see what y'all are saying. Okay, Bonnie, thank you for gifting those memberships. If you got a free membership gifted from Bonnie, make sure to say thank you to her. Okay. Let me see if I can find some more like of them like dancing. Let's see. I'll just turn the volume off. Maybe I won't get like in trouble or whatever.
Say about this. Well, let's check it out. You guys are gonna now you're brand new, you're doing a video here at Channel 6, brand new album. Is that right? What's the name of it? We're in the process of making an album right now. We haven't got a cover name or anything, but we're in the process. We got a couple of new songs, we're originals, and we're just in the process of making a videotape and an album.
Do y'all see what I mean? Like, this is a grown man. Look at the jawline. Look at the height. And do you see this little like, me, I'm Nikki Key, I'm Nikki C. And another funny thing, I don't know if like I'll get a chance to really cover this in the video on BJ Investigate, so I'll say it here. Something else really funny is it was obvious that Lou Pearlman was just trying to remake these boys into New Kids on the Block. And there was like a rumor going around that the New Kids on the Block couldn't sing live, that none of their singing was live. And so Lou Pearlman was like really focusing on making the Backstreet Boys like a competitor to New Kids on the Block, but who could sing live. And so really that was what he was focusing on. And we're going to get into, again, like I said in the video, how each person auditioned and all that. But it's funny because you can tell that like I said, doesn't this look very different to you than what ended up being like the Backstreet Boys that people were screaming for on TRL? Like, this is not how they showed up to TRL. You know what I mean? Let's see. Does he interview Nick? I want y'all to hear Nick like talking and then hear this grown man talking. Now, just to be clear, this guy right here is not the guardian. It was a different person. So I will let him off the hook. He was not the guardian of Nick. It was someone else.
All right, let's see what the Backstreet Boys look like. We're going to go right now. And what's the name of the song?
Wait.
Street Boys, brand new group. And well, we're not gonna confuse it with those other kids, the other singing group.
He's talking about New Kids on the Block. Did y'all hear him? The news anchor guy or the news reporter guy said, we're talking about the Backstreet Boys. We're not gonna confuse them with the other kids. We're not gonna confuse them with those other kids. They're talking about the New Kids on the Block. First of all, the first mind-blowing thing is that the Backstreet Boys would have ever been compared to New Kids on the Block, because looking back in retrospect, it's like they're not even in the same era. Those people were not in the same era, but they clearly were, because the New Kids on the Block were still doing things out and about when the Backstreet Boys were formed and conceptualized. And this news guy is like, we're not going to confuse them with those other kids. Looking back on this interview, you might be tempted to say, no, they're talking about NSYNC. NSYNC wasn't created yet. This was the very early days of the Backstreet Boys. NSYNC didn't come around for like 4 or 5 more years after this. It was the New Kids on the Block. And the most mind-blowing part of that whole entire thing is that the guy who ended up managing them was the New Kids on the Block manager. And so the fact that the Backstreet Boys would have been considered like contemporaries to the New Kids on the Block at any point was a little mind-blowing to me. But they also said something else in the beginning of this news clip. Let me see if they actually play it.
We'll introduce you to a new singing sensation. The next legends, maybe. Who could be the new kids on the block?
Y'all heard that? Let me put the captions on. Oh, they're unavailable. Okay. She said, who could be the next sensations? Who could be the new kids on the block? He was like obviously just trying to make another New Kids on the Block. But I want to show y'all like little tiny Nick, like compared to like grown everyone else. Like, oh. Okay. Look at him. He looks like a grown man. Look at him. That is a little boy. it's just like, what's my point? Like, I don't know. For me, it was like kind of a revelation. Cause when I think back on the Backstreet Boys, this is what I think of. I'll show you. This is the thing I think. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is kind of like where they had me like hook, line, and sinker on it all, right? Like this era. Yeah. Yeah. This is what I think of. And so it's like, this, this, you can't really tell. Well, this is much later. This I think is recently, but you can't really tell after they got really famous, like who's old, who's not. But there's some stuff we found, y'all, that is really troublesome. Okay. Really troublesome. And in particular, let me show y'all this. So the Backstreet Boys got signed. Okay. So I'm actually glad I'm telling y'all this because it's like a long, complicated story. And I don't know if it's all going to be able to make it in BJ Investigate, so we can tell more details here. But Lou Pearlman has the idea for the Backstreet Boys in 1992. He starts auditioning boys immediately. He wants 12 to 16-year-olds who can move well. He ends up obviously accepting older people than that. At the time, New Kids on the Block was huge and people were buying all their merch and the girls were going crazy and making their dads buy all this New Kids on the Block merch for Christmas. That's like what really got Lou Pearlman excited, I think. Now there's also all these other allegations about Lou Pearlman coming out and have come out about the fact that he was abusing these boys allegedly, according to them. There's a whole documentary on YouTube called The Boy Band Con. So Lou Pearlman gets Johnny Wright on board. Johnny Wright also managed Britney Spears in her early career. Johnny Wright worked with Britney. Johnny Wright worked with New Kids on the Block. Johnny Wright worked with Marky Mark. He worked with he was the Backstreet Boys manager. He was NSYNC's manager. He worked on making the band. Like he's been around. He was around. Well, Lou Pearlman had a record company. He called it Transcontinental Records, but it wasn't a major label. It wasn't big, it wasn't profitable at that point. Like he basically was launching Backstreet Boys with the label. So they needed to get more backing from like a major label, and they did start marketing for that. So what Lou Pearlman did was he put the boys on this performance here and on another one at SeaWorld, but he had them doing other stuff. Like he had them here, like this. For example, this is a 1993 interview with the Backstreet Boys. So
Boys. Starting from over here, what's your name, buddy? AJ.
okay, this grown man in the middle. This grown man. Look at him. And look how they're introducing themselves. Remember that thing? I'm not even showing y'all. Sorry, I got too beside myself. So this is them at an interview, 1993 is what it says. And I believe that this is backstage after a SeaWorld performance at Grad Night. So I'll let y'all watch it again since you didn't see it. I don't know who's behind the camera. I presume it's Lou Pearlman. But listen how they're like introducing themselves. They're going to be like, I'm Howie D. I'm Nikki C. Like they're trying to put on like the New Kids on the Block, that like tough Massachusetts, Boston, like, and it's like these kids are from Tampa. Okay, like it's no wonder it flopped. But listen.
Here we are with the Backstreet Boys. Starting from over here, what's your name, buddy? AJ.
And now when I'm watching this, all I can think about is this some type of advertisement? Like this man had the VHS camera on this. But then it was an advertisement because he ended up sending these tapes. I'm gonna let y'all finish. But Lou Pearlman ended up sending tapes from the performance that these boys did on this exact night all around to the industry in order to try and get them signed, to a label or whatever. But okay, I feel like the body language said 1,000 words on that one just now. Howie D, Nikki C, and then Nick is already showing a little bit of sign of rebellion. And this is like they haven't even been signed yet. Okay. He's like, and I'm Nikki C, but actually Nick Carter. Because he knows like Nikki C is lame. That's for old people. Like for him, right? Like in his mind as a child, he's like, no, I'm not Nikki C. It's like, like it had already started to be dated. And the youngest person in the group knew that. And obviously had been coached to say, I'm Nikki C. And Lou Pearlman did end up calling him Nikki for a long time. So look at Howie, the kid standing next to him, this one right here. He's going to conk him on the head when he says, actually, Nick Carter, watch.
And what do you guys plan on doing tonight? How many songs you guys sing? 2.5 songs. Why the heck? Because that's an intro. We're an intro. We don't have much time.
So anyway, I found that. Well, Lou Pearlman does end up actually getting a record label to sign them, Jive Records. And they celebrate. There's a party to celebrate the record label signing them in 1994. And y'all, the stuff that I saw on that video, it's a little bit concerning. And we're going to talk about it in the BJ Investigates, which is coming out this week. But suffice it to say, it was a joint party. It was a joint party. One thing they were celebrating was the Backstreet Boys signing to Jive. The other thing they were celebrating was Johnny Wright's anniversary to Donna Wright, who were their managers at the time. And so it was Johnny Wright, Donna Wright, Lou Pearlman, all managing the Backstreet Boys. It ends up like tying back to P Diddy. It's just Destiny's Child. I mean, all of it. Thank you, Spirit Queen. See, look, there are people who were exactly in that sweet spot. I was a fan of both New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys. And like I said, I don't like really remember like each and every person's like name and stuff. There was some stuff that was completely not escapable. Welcome to memberships, Megan Morgan. Like for example, it would have been hard to escape like Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake being the guy from NSYNC. I mean, I'm sure I even was like, I knew the songs that were on the radio and stuff, but I wasn't, I didn't know all this stuff. Like some people were stans. They knew every single thing. What was I starting that for? Oh, and I remember I was born in 1990 and I was young in my grade. So, I mean, I was probably like, what would I have been like second to fifth grade when they were big or something? And I remember being more into the NSYNC presentation than the Backstreet Boys. I felt like the Backstreet Boys felt a little like more mature or something for me, like a little too serious. And it might be because they were just exactly like that much older than me. And the NSYNC people might have been a little younger or something because they came along after. I really don't know. Let's see. Oh, it's crazy. I had a New Kids on the Block sleeping bag, Nicole said. But yeah, during the time all this was happening, like Biggie was also putting out his debut album and other things in that universe were going on. And there was crossover between these universes because of the different collabs and things and the different management crossovers. And then you can follow this model all the way back to like 1950 and all the way up to today. Like there's people that are always kind of chosen to be the chosen ones of the group. And then the boy bands are getting kind of screwed over, which that's not going to be most of the focus of my video. I'm really going to be talking about that guardianship. Because what ends up happening is, and I had started saying this earlier, what ends up happening is that they all go on the road. They all are doing these tours. They end up, as you know, becoming the best-selling boy band of all time in history, even through today. And they're worth a lot of money. They're worth a lot of money touring. Why? Because if they're on tour and they're there, then the girls will come, they will scream, this is their, model. I'm just telling you what they say. They will scream, they will buy stuff, like Nicole was buying the sleeping bag from the New Kids. So they needed the boys to be on tour, and it's the same thing with Britney, right? It's all the same. It's the same thing with Britney. They needed her to be on tour. Like when artists cancel a tour, people lose a lot of money, even with insurance and stuff like that. So, what ends up happening is they go on tour, and Nick is like, I think 12 or 13 years old, 13, I think, when they go on tour for the first time. And that's when he's put into that guardianship. When they go on tour out of the state from with his parents, somebody has to be legally responsible for him. And they made one of his bandmates legally responsible for him instead of his parents. I guess because his parents didn't want to go. I guess they wanted to put somebody to be legally responsible for him who was going to be with him on the road all of the time. But they end up using this language like, we're a family, we're all brothers. And it's like, that's fine and good. But I've also seen how that brothers and family crap can be used in a very cult-like way to control people. Like, you wouldn't do that to your brother, like Bam in the Jackass crew. We're brothers. He's my brother. You're trying to help him, but really you're trying to kill my brother. You know what I mean? Like that brother, this, that, and the other shit. Well, ends up being one of the brothers is the guardian for another one of the brothers. And also ends up being, we do find out later on that Lou Pearlman himself was alleged to be assaulting these children and also making them available for other people to assault. Do go watch the boy band Con if you have not, because somebody who did blow the whistle on it ended up being unalived. So that's interesting. But all that to say, I get to this interview where all these different separate Backstreet Boys are being interviewed about what's the biggest fight they ever got in with the brothers, with other boys in the band. And they all say Nick. And then Nick says, I don't remember, Kevin behind the stage was mean to him or something. Well, AJ, don't matter if you know who this is or not. It's just a person, just one of them, right? AJ. AJ is retelling his memory of the biggest fight he ever got in with one of his brothers, and it was Nick. And he said he and Nick were fighting backstage or behind the stage at a performance. And he said it was very early on when Nick was really young. And he said, and he was older. He was older than Nick. And he said, I called him a bunch of, not very nice names. And I told him, he just doesn't want to work. Like, he's just lazy. So that gave me a little bit of insight on what was really going on. The biggest fight that one of the Backstreet Boys can ever remember ever getting into with any of the Backstreet Boys ever was one time when he was arguing with the youngest member, the one who was cast to be the cute one, about going home. Now, I know it's easy to have amnesia now, knowing what we know about Nick Carter, who he became as an adult. But I know some of y'all were head over heels, buck wild, running crazy through the streets, trying to get some Nick Carter airtime. I know you were. You would have left your parents' house to go run off and marry Nick Carter. Yes, you would. And you weren't the only one that felt like that. It was like thousands, maybe millions or something of girls that was like that. And it was like, well, no, we can't have Nick Carter off the road. They were all cute. And that was the point. All of them were specifically chosen not only for being able to sing, because the Backstreet Boys truly were required to be able to sing. It was an important thing for that specific group. Not only were they good at singing, not only could they at least kind of, dance within some type of choreography or whatever. Like, not everybody can even do what they could do. Not that it was that advanced, but they were also chosen specifically to be archetypes of characters. And there's videos of Lou Pearlman talking about this, about the formula. And the formula requires, a cute one, a younger looking one, an older hunk is what he calls it, an older hunk, a sweet one, a smart one. And then he says, and sometimes if, it could help to have some Latino in the mix or something. Like, that's how he said it. I'm just paraphrasing him. So it wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't like, oh, he just picked 5 guys that could sing. No. Once you got the cute one, that's the cute one. We're not getting no more cute one. That's it. Cute one. Spot seats taken. You know what I mean? So You have the cute one, the youngest one, the one that, you know, any one of them not being on the tour would have been a big deal. But the older ones probably could be manipulated or whatever. I don't know, paid off. I really don't know. Maybe they were better, you know, programmed. Maybe they weren't. But it was clear even from this very early video, this one, that Nikki C wasn't just about to just do whatever anybody else was telling him to do. Nikki C. No, Nikki C, but actually it's Nick Carter. You know what I mean? Like you kind of get a little insight into that. And then you get the other one, AJ, telling you the biggest fight he ever been in with any Backstreet Boy ever. Was telling Nick that he was lazy because he didn't want to be on tour. And he was like, 13 or 14. He wanted to go home. So then that got me to thinking, hold up, wait a second. If Nick Carter was in a guardianship under one of his bandmates, doesn't that create a conflict of interest? Because the bandmates making money depends on the band showing up to do their, show. Depends on tickets and things. And I guess the band can't really do the band thing without the band. And so what if you ran into a situation where Nick Carter's best interest was to leave the tour, but the Guardians' best financial interest was for Nick to stay on the tour? I'm not making any allegations at all. I'm just asking, what if? What if? And that's kind of the thing with guardianships. You're not supposed to have such a fundamental conflict of interest that if that what if becomes a reality, you might be tempted to pick your own best interest. And that's what we keep talking about, conflicts of interest in Britney's case. You already know that one of the band members, AJ, is sitting over here threatening him and getting in a huge fight with him at 13, 14 years old because he wants to leave and go home. We know he's in a guardianship on the road on tour. We know one of the guardians, according to them, is in this band with him. And so let's just forget everything we know about Nick Carter as an adult. Let's stop and freeze frame the clock right then and there at the very moment Nick Carter wanted to go home and couldn't. What is going to happen if Nick says, I want to go home, and his guardian don't want him to go home? 14 years old. His parents aren't there on the road. He did, beautiful, messy ball. There was a Epstein, Charlie Crist connection through Lou Pearlman, and actually was one of the reasons why he wasn't tried at first, if I remember correctly. But this is covered in the Boy Band Con, and I would strongly suggest y'all go watch that if you haven't. Even if you have, I think I've watched it 3 times. Every time I watch it, I learn something new, and it's like a galaxy brain moment. It's a YouTube documentary, and it's very well done. It makes it interesting when there are allegations and the bandmates are backing him up. Could be innocent, perhaps not. Yeah, I don't know about the allegations, and I kind of on purpose for the duration of getting through this video that I'm working on right now, I didn't want to bias myself anymore, like toward what adult Nick Carter did. So I'm kind of holding off on learning more about that. But as I'm moving through making these scripts, making these videos, I will be looking more into the different allegations and things like that. What I've been looking into lately has been Usher. Do y'all know the Usher? Oh, I can give you a little Usher rundown too. So Usher, let me pull up his Wikipedia page because there was a link on there. Okay. Also, 1994, Backstreet Boys get signed to Jive Records, and 1994 was whenever Usher released his debut album ever. And he was 16 years old. Rose to fame in the 90s. Okay, let me show y'all his wiki. And you can't believe everything you read on Wikipedia. I've caught it slipping before regarding Michael Oher's dad. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but a lot of times they'll link their sources and things. Okay, let's see. He rose to fame in the 90s. His second album, My Way, was 1997, which was the same year that the Backstreet Boys released their American debut. That's another part of the formula. Another part of the formula, part of the model, is to get your stars really big in Europe first. And then after they've won awards over there, bring them to the US. And it's kind of like not exactly the same type of model anymore because we don't have the same type of media anymore. Now we're more social media. But it was very common. This is how NSYNC did it. This is how Backstreet Boys did it. And it's also how they did it with Britney. She was very famous overseas, like way before she was very famous in the United States. And that's because she toured with the Backstreet Boys, which got her a little bit of, NSYNC, which was like her boyfriend, which got her a little bit of more exposure than like, the Backstreet Boys on their own would have been able to get when they were starting out, which was only a few years before. Okay, let's see. We're here with Usher. Okay, not that. Early life. Okay. So he was born in Dallas. Did you know Usher was a fourth? His dad was Usher Raymond III. He spent the majority of his young life in Chattanooga. His dad left the family when he was only 1 year old. And that's another thing that they all have in common is either very, very tumultuous and chaotic, toxic home lives, or there's no dad in the picture. That's part of the model. I'm just telling y'all what I found. Okay. Usher, dad left when he was 1. P Diddy, dad left when he was 3. Britney Spears, Jamie Spears is her dad. Need I say more? Justin Bieber, the dad wasn't in the picture. Okay. He grew up with his mom, his stepfather, and half brother. Directed by his mother, who the mother ended up being Usher's manager too. Don't know if y'all knew that. Usher joined the local church youth choir in Chattanooga when he was 9 years old. His grandmother then discovered his ability to sing, although it wasn't until Usher joined a singing group that she considered he could sing professionally. Believing that a bigger city would provide greater opportunities for showcasing his talent, Usher's family moved to Atlanta, where there was a more conducive environment for beginning singers. So before Usher was even signed, before he had ever even made his first song, his family knew they wanted to cash in on his talents. Period. I mean, it's the model. This is the Carter model as well. I don't know if they moved for it. It just so happened that Lou Pearlman operated out of Atlanta, and they, I think, were operated out of Orlando. I think they were from Tampa, so they were like kind of, I don't know, around or something. He went to that high school. Okay, when he was 10 years old, he joined a local quintet, a local R&B quintet called The New Beginnings, which was organized by local music promoter Daryl Wheeler. Never heard of him. He doesn't really fit into my diagram yet. Usher recorded 10 songs with the group in 1991. And then there was an album, New Beginning featuring Usher Raymond IV. It was only made, it's funny, like he started out as Usher Raymond IV, and then now he's just Usher only. There's no last name. There's no fourth. It's just Usher, just only. It was only made available regionally by mail order. However, his mother took him out of the band. She took him out of the quartet. Remember, look, at age 10, 1991, he's doing these albums with the New Beginning quartet, local R&B quartet in Atlanta. But his mom took him out because, according to her, it was a bad experience. The album was re-released nationally when he got famous again. At age 13, he met a guy named AJ Alexander at a local talent show. Okay, so this is later. This is 2-3 years later. Usher is trying to still make it out here in this world. Alexander, the talent. Oh, wait, who's Alexander? Oh, yeah, okay. At the time was Bobby Brown's bodyguard, took Usher around and had him perform in parking lots and talent shows when he was 13, Usher. Alexander, this Bobby Brown's bodyguard, invited Bryant Reed. I don't know who this is, but look at that last name. AR representative from LA Face or LaFace Records to see Usher perform. Okay, hold on. There's so much in this sentence. L.A. Reid is the name of the guy, the big music guy, right? Like one of the huge music producers. Here's a guy named Bryant Reed, same last name, who's working A&R, who's, going around with Usher, having him perform. And then he arranged an audition for Usher with L.A. Reid, this guy who is the co-founder of this record company, right? And this is all from the local talent show. Who else got kind of discovered from talent shows? Britney Spears, Nick Carter. Oh man. But this is like normal, right? It's like the scouts. The scouts are out. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not like that big of a conspiracy. It's just the scouts are out and they go to these places and look. He was moving on to perform on Star Search. Who went on Star Search? Backstreet Boys, Usher, Britney. I think Justin Timberlake was on Star Search as well. Following the Star Search performance, Usher arranged for an audition with L.A. Reid, or like the Bryant Reid, whoever that is, arranged Usher to audition with L.A. Reid. Reid signed Usher on the spot to a contract with the record company after Usher sang a Boys to Men song, End of the Road. Y'all know that one. Till I can't let go. Usher's mother left her job. Sound familiar? Sounds like Nick Carter's mom. Sounds like Lance Bass's mom. Sounds like some other people's moms. Left her job as a medical tech to manage his career. So Usher's mom was kind of like, looked like she was waiting. She was sitting on go to manage Usher. Usher was introduced to the public on Call Me a Mac. And this is the cutest thing I ever saw. I don't want to play it here because I don't want to get copyrighted or whatever, but it is super cute. And y'all should go look at it. It's very cute. Well, I don't know. Parts of it are not cute because they have him dancing like in a courthouse, and like paparazzi's taking pictures of him like he like committed a crime, but he's only like, he looks like he's about 10 or 11 years old. I guess he must have been 13 or 14. But in this video you have so I'm gonna have to pull it up to show y'all, even if I can't play the music, more of the web coming together. I'm just showing y'all some of the pieces, some of the red strings. In this video, Usher Raymond's debut album or debut song or whatever with L.A. Reid's label, the big one that he finally, he got signed. In the video, you have Tupac, I think you have Kim Porter, and who else is in that video? Hold on, let me pull it up. It was like 3 people, and I was like, this is too close. Call Me a Mac, Usher. And what is a Mac? Any Gen X in the crowd? Can y'all remind me, what is a Mac? M-A-C-K. I'm needing to know. Okay. Because I'm seeing a lot of this Mac stuff. And I remember that being a thing. Mac Daddy. Call Me a Mac. Look at this. Look at this video. I don't want to play it because it's like, so here's the judge. She look familiar? She was so ahead of her time with those ombre nails. Okay, so here's the judge saying that she wants Usher brought back to her. That's the music video. And there's this picture. And I don't know what is what. Okay, I can't actually. I'm not gonna be able to play it because I just remembered they are flashing that camera like that the whole time. Let me see if I can just get to where. Look at this. This is Usher's Janet Jackson. This is Usher's first music video for Poetic Justice. And again, they're flashing those things the whole time. And he's in the back of the car with this like Secret Service. I don't know. He's like trying to escape from justice. I'm assuming like he's a crime or something. He's just committing crime. I don't know what the point is. I gotta be honest, never saw Poetic Justice either. But that's how he busted on the scene. That's how Usher busted on the scene, right? Dancing in the courthouse like that. Okay, and then this part I wanted to show y'all. Oh, during this time is when he met Chili, his label mate who he would later date. Okay. Preparing for his debut album, Usher lost his voice. This is the part I want to show y'all. He was going through puberty, had difficult time adjusting his voice, which is natural and normal. L.A. Reid became skeptical of Usher and put his album on hold. He thought about dropping him from the label. Usher pleaded with him to keep the label. Pleaded with the label to keep him, and they did. But look at this. From this point, Reid, the head of the label, didn't know what to do with Usher. And he sent him to New York in the spring of 1994 to live with record executive Puff Daddy, to attend what Reid later called Flavor Camp. Okay. It's all in my mind. Getting it out of my mind is a little bit of a task because it's hard not to get like, a schizophrenia diagnosis while I'm trying to talk about this stuff, but and I'm not joking. Cuz it all connects in my head, but if you just go from point A and just say point Z and you don't tell people how you got there, then they think that you're not operating in the same dimension as them. So I'm trying to go piece by piece, but hear me out. Preparing for Usher, preparing for his debut album, going through puberty. His voice is changing, which is normal and natural. It's something that happens to every young man assigned male at birth, I should say, unless, intervention occurs or whatever. But it's pretty normal. L.A. Reid, as somebody who had young people on his label, would have known this, right? Okay. Usher lost his voice. He was going through puberty and he couldn't adjust his voice. L.A. Reid became skeptical of Usher and put his album on hold. He thought about dropping him from the label. Okay, so get him in a fight or flight stage, get the cortisol levels through the roof, and make him be willing to do anything to keep his spot because you could cut him at any moment. See what I mean? Hear me out. I'm going to show y'all how it happened somewhere else in a video. Just let me get through this sentences. Okay. Usher pleaded with the label to keep him, and they did. But from this point, Reid didn't know what to do with him. So he sent him to New York in the spring of 94 to live with Puff Daddy to attend what Reid called Flavor Camp. Usher quickly adapted to the lavish lifestyle, although in an interview with Rolling Stone, he did describe this period of his life as the hardest days of his life. I had to knuckle up, figure out in New York. Okay. Now, there's some other stuff that's alleged to have gone on at these flavor camps, but what do we know about the flavor camps other than that? Okay. Rewind. Usher was going through puberty, had a difficult time, whatever. Reid became skeptical. Then it led Usher to having to beg for his life, right? Well, let me show you this little snippet from a Making the Band. Remember, P Diddy has connections not only to this Usher story that I'm talking about right now. We're talking about Usher going to Flavor Camp. Remember Flavor Camp where Justin Bieber ended up maybe doing a short Flavor Camp where it's alleged also P Diddy had a guardianship over Usher and he was his legal guardian. I've not been able to confirm that on the court documents, but I've been able to confirm that Nick Carter was in a guardianship under one period. I've been able to see from Nick Carter saying it himself that it was a bandmate that was his guardian. I want to be very clear. The only people that show up on the 3 papers I was able to get from Nick Carter's guardianship are his parents and him. But they were out here saying in interviews that it was his bandmate was his guardian. Water break. Okay. I'm also working on one of those boards where all the connections are actually there and then you can actually see it yourself, but it's hard enough to get it out of my mind with words, much less that. Okay. So P. Diddy is connected to this Usher story through what we were just talking about. He was doing the flavor camp and he's who Usher lived with while Usher was on thin ice, going through puberty, losing his voice, not knowing if he was going to be able to be on the record label or whatever. P. Diddy also has connections to the Backstreet Boys realm of the puzzle because he took over making the band a lot of ways, right? A lot of reasons, but here's one way. He took over making the band season 2, season 3. He took it over from Lou Pearlman, who had created it. Lou Pearlman had created the Backstreet Boys. But Johnny Wright and Lorianne Gibson or whatever, who were both on Making the Band season 1, also were on Making the Band season 2 with Diddy. So it shows to me they were kind of working with the same people. We also have some Clive Davis connections once P. Diddy spins off and does Bad Boy Records, but that's a story for another day. What we're talking about right now, just to remind you, is the Usher story, right? 13, he gets sent to Flavor Camp. 13 years old in New York. Okay. So the Flavor Camp saga is one arm of this, is one, tentacle. And I am, hold on. Okay, final installment, season 3, Making the Band 2, season 3, episode 1. It's very confusing how they label these. Okay, let me see the transcript. Okay. I gotta find the right episode. Oh, I think it might be is it season 3? Which one is Danity Kane? That's what I'm looking for. Oh, it's in Atlanta. Okay, there's the algorithm. Sometimes the algorithm blesses me. Oh my God, no. Is this true? Is that true, y'all? I saw TLC when they opened for Boyz II Men in 1995. Y'all are funny. Love that. It's my prerogative. Oh my God, y'all are commenting a lot of live chats, or is my thing just not updated? Okay, I'm scrolling. Yeah, okay. Another one, same model. Put them in a band, spin them off, make all the money off of them. Yep. Same model, same people, same connection, same everything. But I'm looking for, which one is Danity Kane? Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, I hate when they don't give me the dang transcripts. Okay. Okay. Diddy makes eliminations. I think it's this episode.
Talented, strong young women. That's saying that. That's what I'm looking for. I have to get it this time. So y'all are gonna take the best.
Okay. Let me see. Actually, there might be a better way to find it. Anyway, I can't find it right now. I'll find it in a second. But Lou Pearlman was also doing these flavor camps, right? He wasn't calling them that. He was calling his a boy band finishing school. But both Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and the other ones, all the other ones were doing it, this finishing school. Now, Lou Pearlman's was in Florida in his blimp hangar. So they were practicing like in a giant warehouse, basically where the blimps and the planes would be parked. And I guess Diddy's was in New York for whatever reason at his house, but then there's this Making the Band, which is basically like a hyperbole of one of these like type of like camps, right? Where they're teaching you how to do stuff, but you're also kind of getting exposure to the lifestyle and things like that. So, what I was pulling this up for to show y'all was this show, and here. This show, and I don't know if this is the episode, but it is, I think it's the one where he does Danity Kane. And there's a time in the show, there's a moment, and I'll probably include it either in a BJ Investigates or maybe the next live. But there's a moment where Diddy's not in the room and he really doesn't have any contact with the contestants until pretty much till they made the band, pretty much. He just kind of sends these handlers out. And one of them he specifically refers to as a den mother. He refers to the person as a den mother. Like, if you know, you know. And when was Making the Band? I don't know. Maybe it was like early 2000, 2004, 2005, 2003, something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, so he's doing all this stuff with the auditions, but then he's nowhere to be seen after the auditions while they're doing the camp of it all. Diddy, right? During the Making the Band. That's what I'm talking about. And there's a moment where they have all the girls the contestants gathered around, and the handlers are talking to them and being mean. And they're saying, to tell you the truth, to be honest with you, I don't know what they called him, Puff or Diddy or whatever, is not impressed with any of you at the current moment. And so I have to hit the road and go find some more girls to audition because this just isn't going to cut it. And so she does indeed go hit the road and they do more auditions. And the people who are back at the house already competing are like nervous and scared now because they're going to have to compete next to each other or with each other for a spot on this band, which competition, put that in your pegboard, is another big part of the model. It's another big part of it to create a competition so that everybody's kind of fighting with each other. The art, the talent is fighting with each other. And everybody's trying to impress daddy at the top. That's the model. So in this one, it's all these handlers, and this is on camera. This aired on, I think, VH1 or MTV or something, CW or something. They all these handlers are gathering these contestants around who are now like scared for their spot or whatever, even more than they were before. Like, who's going to come into this house? But then the people who are auditioning double hard because now they're being told this is like a second chance. This is a second shot. We already did the first round and got the best, but you can try to improve yourself. So it's a arbitrary competition that they set up. They could have auditioned all those girls before. They just didn't. So that is a similarity to the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC being pitted against each other. It goes all the way back to the 60s with the Osmonds and the Jackson 5 being pitted against each other. That was more like racially motivated and whatever, but it's a common in the model. It's pitting you against someone else so that when you get really mad at your manager or your whoever's in charge of you, you remember that at least you going to be more impressive to the manager. You might get more spots. You might get the better songs. You might get the better TV offer, whatever. If your manager has 2 bands, you're going to want to not make them mad. And so this flavor camp thing is also a similarity between all of these people, right? Like there's always this like sort of finishing school or like conditioning camp that people end up having to go to before they make it major in the, industry or whatever. And Britney Spears went to one in New York. Perez Hilton even went to Tisch School for the Arts with Lady Gaga. I don't know if they went at the same time, but they went to the same school. There's like these academies. And if you don't go to one, then you get put in the Puffy flavor camp or the Lou Pearlman finishing school. Yeah, it is old school motivation. But then when you put on top of it that the managers are taking advantage of this old school motivation to exploit these children, in some cases, like not only physically, but also financially and, whatever. I mean, for me, it just kind of all goes back to like, what if Nick Carter or any 13-year-old on the road who was under that much stress and pressure would have just wanted to go home and the Guardian was his bandmate? Not that I think that his parents would have been much better. Just to be clear, I think his parents had that Osmond family gleam in their eye. The Jackson, like I think that the Carters always wanted to milk as much money out of their sons as possible. I think that was something that they wanted to do. I don't think it was like a accident. It was, both of them. And for that reason, I think if they were still the legal guardians, they would have forced him to be on that bus too. I think. I'm just speculating. I wasn't there. I was like 6 or whatever. No, 1994, I was 3. So I really don't know. Oh, yes. This is another aspect. This is another aspect of the web, the tree. I definitely found it. I definitely found that. There's some Kardashian connections in the thing. The thing takes twists and turns. Destiny's Child, believe it or not. Twisting and turning. Yeah, and the Spice Girls were up against each other. Yep. Yeah. Rowan says 100% Nick and Aaron have both talked about what their parents forced them into. They tried to make Angel, his sister, who unfortunately passed away, a star? Huh? I don't know what that means. I mean, yeah. Yep. Another one. BB True. Pussycat Dolls is another one. Menudo, another one. Ricky Martin, broke out from Menudo, and Nicole Scherzinger has always just been the main thing of the Pussycat Dolls. I think that model is the same. It's the same model, but the force is coming from a different direction. So in that analogy, Nicole would be the Nick, right? The one they need to keep. And the rest of the people in the band will compete with her, and then we'll say, you know, we're all a family and we're all depending on you and we all need you and like to keep her. If there was no bandmates, then she would probably have a lot more autonomy because it would just be a solo act. And she is a solo act now. I know she has her own album and stuff, but historically. But Pussycat Dolls and Menudo are similar because they would switch members out. And, you know, did anyone notice? Sometimes yes, sometimes ambiguous. New Edition was another one, yes. And I think Backstreet Boys was really kind of trying to a little bit like emulate that to a degree as well. This is really a theory. Crazy Colors TV. I have still not ever looked into the Aaron Carter situation. I have a feeling it's going to be very traumatizing for me to do so for disclosed and undisclosed reasons. So I have not yet, but it's something I'm going to do one day. I'm going to, especially now that I'm stumbling into the Lou Pearlman path. So that's what I have to do for the rest of the day. I have to get my outline ready for the Usher script. It definitely goes so deep. Yeah, no. And he just needs to take that video down. It's terrible. Oh, it's such a money, power, abuse, manipulation. And for a while, I mean, he was going live and stuff, and he would go live and he would play piano, and I would go in there on the lives. We never talked or anything, but before he did pass, for about a year before he passed, people were saying, look into Aaron Carter conservatorship. Something's going on with Aaron Carter. And I don't really remember or know sitting here today right now why I didn't, but when I found out the news that he had passed, I did feel a little bit of a pang of guilt for not doing anything before. But again, like I wasn't feeling like the timing was right. I wasn't feeling like the right vibe. I don't exactly remember. There was like a reason. It wasn't like I just didn't feel like it. But I don't know. Maybe it was inevitable, you know. I just felt a little bit like that little twitch of guilt. Little pang of guilt cuz he seemed like fairly accessible, you know. He didn't seem like he was like guarded behind a bunch of handlers and stuff. He might have been, but it didn't seem like it. Adam 22 was, you know, the Grandmason. He was the last one to interview him. Also, I heard a theory, or not a theory, an allegation, accusation. I also heard an accusation on one of these YouTube videos I was watching that Diddy's father was a federal informant. Like he was a snitch, basically. Like people would like cops and stuff like knew that he was one that would squeal or snitch or whatever. So they would, I'm just telling y'all what I heard in somebody's video. It was like also one of those AI videos. It could have came straight from Chat GPT. I'm just kind of going over some of the stuff I've been looking into, but apparently, allegedly, that's the word on the street. And the word on the street is the reason that Diddy's father passed, whenever he was 3, was because he was a snitch and he got for snitching. Now, I don't know if that's true. I definitely don't condone that type of behavior. Okay, BB True seems to know the story and says, no, yeah, yes, he did. It's true. He was a snitch. Oh, Steve-O also did? Oh, man. I mean, Steve-O's a demonic clown, so that doesn't surprise me. Failed. A demonic failed clown. He's a failure of a clown because he couldn't get a job at the circus. Don't know what you heard about. Okay, so see, look. Tro is saying no. That's not true. This is true too. Absolutely. Yeah. I hated how Adam 22 was so condescending. And it's because he has to be. Like people that's like comfortable and sure of themselves and like that have it kind of going on, like they don't need to act like that to other people, to their face like that. That's not necessary. It's like, why are you going to punch down on somebody? I've been watching Aaliyah's story from her uncle. I say, Goddess said she was signed to and got $90 million from insurance when she died. Is that true? Oh yeah, this is another connection I found too. Like I didn't find, right? Everything I've found, other people have found. I'm just putting it all together. I'm not trying to take proprietary credit for any of this. I'll be watching YouTube videos and reading Wikipedia all day long and looking through the Wayback Machine and archives and keeping lists like that. I'm not finding anything groundbreaking and brand new. So this is something that I've also come across is R. Kelly, her fam allowed her to marry. Right. Aaliyah married R. Kelly when she was like 15 or something. She was like 14, maybe even like 15 to 16, something, 14 to 16 years old. And it's another way of guardianship. It's instead of a guardianship, it's using the legal system in something in a different way. It's using the legal system to have a marriage so that you can have custody of someone, right? Because R. Kelly allegedly apparently wanted to take Aaliyah with him on the road. And at the time, people thought she was much older, but she was like a young teenager. Jay-Z, who broke up Rockefeller because he didn't get her. Wait. See, this part I'm still kind of getting into a little bit. Just like I'm not like fully like there's the Bad Boy Records, which Diddy started after he left from Uptown. Uptown sounds very, very familiar to Motown to me. O-Town was modeled off of Motown. Uptown, I don't know, might be modeled off a Motown. And it all goes back up to this Motown. It all goes back to Berry Gordy, believe it or not. Believe it or not. In my opinion, from what I've been able to find. I'm compiling. Right, exactly. Yes, Aaliyah's uncle got paid $90 million because he was listed as the beneficiary of her policy. $90 million is a lot of money. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then I'll be the next one on the list, girl. I know Jaguar Wright has been out here saying her thing, and she was, I don't know, I saw a thumbnail, had a text message, and it was like, I keep a loaded bleep bleep Second Amendment device. How much did Beyonce know? That's the question. Then, yep, he was never out of the picture. He was always around. You know who else was, so Maurice Starr was a student of Berry Gordy, and Maurice Starr mentored Johnny Wright, who ended up being the Backstreet Boys manager, NSYNC's manager, Britney Spears' manager, being on Making the Band. So he was involved in all that. He also was with New Kids on the Block. So New Kids on the Block have a Motown ancestry, believe it or not. Believe it or not. And I do think like a lot of times people kind of get a little bit like racially blind where they're like, just because like, you know, the Backstreet Boys are white, for example, it's like people don't put together like they could still literally be connected very closely to whatever, P Diddy, whatever, you know, like people need to like expand beyond the genres because the people in the industry, they don't give about a genre. It's money to them. Like it's not genre. It's not, they probably care about race to some extent that they can make money off of it, but like probably not much farther beyond that. Let's see. Yeah, he's in it too. Clive Davis, I read earlier. I don't know if this is true. I fact checked, but so 5 people started. I got this info from Jaguar, right. 5 people started Uptown Records. Diddy being one of them. Andre, what's his name? Harrell or whatever. I don't know his name. I think his first name's Andre. It's AH or his initials. Kim Porter was his Andre's personal assistant. Who then who else was it? Like 2, 3 other people, they all started it. Well, at some point, I think around 93, 94, Diddy gets fired from Uptown, which maybe he did. Maybe they really did fire him, but also maybe they just were spinning off something else, you know, to make it look like it wasn't all the same damn people. And then that record label takes and does Biggie's debut album in 1994. But now I think all the people who started Uptown with Diddy, other than like one person, died, and one of them been in a coma, didn't die. I don't know. It's just stuff I'm reading, things to think about. Things to think about. Oh. Clive Davis. That's why I brought this up. Okay. So when he spun off and did Bad Boy Records, is it Bad Boy? Yeah, Bad Boy Records. When Diddy spun off and made his own record company, Bad Boy, apparently, allegedly, Clive Davis was 50% owner of that, and he had bankrolled the whole thing. Like, he basically put up millions of dollars to start it. So Clive Davis, somebody said, I don't remember who it was. I've been watching so many videos, but somebody said, well, Puffy might come across like maybe he might be the prince of shady music deals. Well, if he's the prince of shady music deals, then Clive Davis is the king. And it would like flash a picture of Clive Davis. And it showed a bunch of pictures of Clive Davis, like with Diddy. But then it started making me think, wait, hold on. Diddy's dad died when he was like 1 year old too. So it's like all these boys, the Backstreet Boys, they all were like kind of relying on Lou as a father figure. And indeed, they called him Big Papa. It's not a coincidence that Diddy sounds like Daddy. Okay. Puff Daddy was his name. And when he came out, we seen Ludacris and who else? Not Ludacris. Fabulous. We've seen Fabulous and who else? I can't remember who else it was. Somebody else calling Diddy Daddy. Calling him Daddy on camera. Then Diddy uploaded it. Who was that in his pool calling him Daddy? I forgot. Y'all saying it in the comments or no? Nas and Fabulous? That's who it was? Or was it Fabulous calling him Daddy more than once in two different clips? No, it was not 50 Cent, because 50 Cent will say, I'm not doing that. He was making fun of him. Yeah, and then what do we hear about Diddy from Cassie's lawsuit? Now, innocent till proven guilty. But Cassie had said in her lawsuit that Diddy asked her early on, what do you call your grandfather? You know, what's his name? Whatever. And she said Pop Pop or whatever it was. And Diddy then made Cassie, his girlfriend, start calling him by the name she called her grandpa. On top of the fact that his name was Puff Daddy at the time. What's he puffing? You know, like, I don't know. Things to think about. Diddy did like, yeah. Puff Daddy was his name. He went by it. 50 Cent is supposedly doing a doc. Yeah, surviving P Diddy or whatever it is. I hope he really does it. Yeah, no, 50 Cent did not. Wait, Kim K was married at 17? No. I was talking about Aaliyah. Oh, it was about the Afro Puff? Did he ever have an Afro Puff? I don't think he's always had pretty short hair. See, I don't know anything about the Amy Winehouse situation. Oh, he already started filming. Maybe he'll watch this live. All right, that's all I really had for today. I got to go write the script about Usher and do some other stuff. So that's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. Thanks for coming by. I'll probably be doing another live later this week because I need to be scripting this week so I can get a bunch of BJ Investigates out, which takes away time from editing. But that's all I really had for today right now. Facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.